Alright. So smooth. Okay, well. Mere hours after the last stream. We're streaming again. I'm gonna keep going. It's just me. It's just me in the world. My lovely wife. My lovely wife is in Norway, and I'm here. I'm a lonely dad, doing what I gotta do. Keeping the kids alive. Keeping the floor clear of broken spaghetti and granulated sugar. Constantly vacuuming. Alright, well, back to Zelda. So, I have a small confession. Yeah, it's confession time. I went ahead a little bit. I'll show you the progress. Okay, so, gosh, we did most of this yesterday. Adding effects and things like that. And then, here's where I sort of went ahead. Because another confession time. I could have been better. Oh, I'm not... Here, let me shift this over. Let me shift this over. Now we see. Now we see what I'm doing. Can I just make my face just go away? I do this. You go away. You go here, face. Okay, so here in the composition, if we go from here to here, you see what I did. Just changed the arrangement of some things. So this skeleton in the foreground was sort of weighing and giving too much importance to what was happening over here. And meanwhile, pretty much nothing happening over here that's interesting. The angle of this guy, a little intense. It looks like he's about to... Here's literally what I did, was I flipped the image from left to right, which is... so I could see the mirror of the image. You're supposed to do that all the time in art, and I just neglected to be doing that at all. And yeah, you're not supposed to not do that, right? But I totally hadn't been doing that. Oops. So, don't do what I did. Do what I'm doing now, which is taking the time to flop your image. And when I did, I saw things that I was like, okay, that needs to get tweaked, this needs to get tweaked, this needs to change. But they were all small things. I was like, what if I just try them right now and make sure that they work? I tried them. I made sure they worked. And I was like, damn, I should have been recording this. Oops. So I didn't record it. But I also stopped myself before I went too far. I stopped myself. Now, there were some issues. You know, you move this guy a little bit, and then you see all this background stuff I didn't even draw. And yeah, that's not good. So, oops. So I went in and I, adjusted a little bit. I filled in that little spot real quick. And I was like, what would it look like with a little depth, a little bit of underglow right here on these foreground bits. Put that in. And then I said to myself, self, you gotta stop. So I did. Now it's done. No, it's not done. But it's, I'm done taking us through the vault of sin. Should not have. I broke my vow. Broke my vow to do it all live. And it's an odd flex to indulge, but I'm gonna make an enemy out of my ego. For sure. One thing that spurred me on to realizing. So I realized, I was like, wait a second. I flipped this one. I spotted a bunch of shit that I want to fix. What about all the other ones? Well, I went through the ones that are on deck for now, the 12. All these 12. And I flopped them. They still look good. So, except for the Landmola, this isn't bad. Like, it's not bad. It's not bad flopped. Composition is still good, but it's not great. There's things, and now it's becoming so clear. You know, this point in the composition, it feels like I couldn't make a decision whether or not I wanted to make this in the middle, like the dead middle, and to the left. And truth be told, that's correct. I didn't know whether I wanted to sort of move it to the left, which would essentially shrink and push the Landmola back into space. It's like what I do have is a pretty solid cutting in half of the composition here. That's pretty even. And there's basically the same, you know, it's good. It's good. Not every brilliant piece of art has perfect composition. But what I will probably do is when I remaster this, I'm just going to take this thing and I'll shove it right in the dead middle. That'll necessitate probably me taking the entire background and putting it in the middle. I might see what that looks like. But yeah, there's something to be fixed here in the composition. Also, something I noticed is that in a perfect world, I would have taken one of these legs and made them clearly overlapped by one of the sand dunes. Yeah, that needed to happen and I didn't do it. Yeah. We all make mistakes. We all make like one or two mistakes in like our entire life, right? That's one of them. My biggest regret. We need a slogan. It should be like, flop before you finish. That's a technical industry term. When you rotate or you flip a canvas horizontally. In film, that's called a flop. They do it all the time. They're like, dope. We need the character going left to right instead of right to left. Well, just flop it. It's a cheat. But very good way to see if your composition is working. Because we become a little bit blinded to the image as we're working on it. It's true and it's weird, but it's true. All right, but you know what? The cool thing about working on all these layers is that I'm being diligent about keeping them separate. Is that we can have latitude to change things fairly painlessly. Okay, this is not going to stand. Here's me adding smoke and that, or mist and stuff. But like, meanwhile, I was like, let's just add like darkness as well. And it's like, no, don't. That's not going to be. That won't look good. If I set that to screen, that won't be as offensive. Okay. I'm naming some of these layers so I don't get so confused, because it's getting complicated now. The magical trail of the fairy is not looking good to me. So I'm going to drastically change that up in a second. What's working now that wasn't working before is there is a fun sort of this thing in the foreground, this dead human skeleton or whatever, dead Hylian skeleton. This is getting a handoff to this, which is getting a handoff to here, which is kind of getting a handoff to the background. And there's a fun sort of pinball dynamic happening with the fairy. That's the sort of the explanation, is the fairy is the pinball evading problems. Right now I'm just turning layers on and off so we can see what the various effects are having. Working too much with these effects layers on will absolutely skew unnecessarily where I'm able to make changes by drawing. So I'm going to turn this off for now. It's so funny. I want some of this dust to be behind the moblin and in front of the Armos. A little bit like that. Okay. Okay, well, let's fix some of this rock stuff. No need to get precious about it. It's me and the spam bots. We'll go another half hour. The deadline for today is I have to get my kids to school on time. And it's picture day. Well, it's not picture day, but it's take pictures day for my son who's starting preschool. So I have to do all the cheesy things, like make him stand with a thing that says first day of school, etc., etc. Slimy, moldy, mossy rocks. Very temporarily illuminated by the fairy buzzing right above their heads. I'm pretty sure I want to keep this streak of light. Let's keep this streak of light. One thing I'm gonna do, I think, is have this spear tip here, because it's projecting this way into space. I think it would actually meet up with the shaft of light, at least a little bit. Get a nice glow on it. Could look cool. What I did right there where I was stretching it out, because I drew it by hand, it invariably has a slight curve to it, but by stretching it out, it sort of reduces the appearance of that curve. So this light that's sort of picking up and illuminating the background, we're gonna give that a rim light effect on the moblin, this foreground stuff. Maybe more of an effect here too. Doesn't really feel like it's affecting him the way it should. We're getting bounced light, but I think like there's this atmospheric light that still needs to make its presence known. And then the background needs to get lit too. Now, is that the color I love? Let's see here. Does that need to get tweaked? Will it look amazing if I do something else with it? Yeah, it might be too saturated. It's funny, a little bit of pink light. It's kind of cool. Don't ask me why, it just kind of is. I think we have to keep it pretty yellow. I think what isn't good is right here. It was so saturated. It then sort of like made it weird that the bounce light here was not as saturated. Pull back on that saturation. What color is this anyway? Okay, yellow. Sounds good. I don't know. Do a little progress save. Let's turn off the fairy. What happens if we make an appropriate underlit effect for the statue in the background? Let's bump up the brightness, then more yellow. Try that one more time. Wrong tool. Go. Bump up the brightness, more yellow. Interesting, possibly slightly convincing. Very subtle. Get a little brighter in some areas. Maybe a little more bright. Damn. That's kind of a cool look. I'm glad if nothing else, that I did a little practice on the underlining of this structure. I mean, we can see before and after, and I'm not saying I nailed it by any stretch, but it's I think it's a step in the right direction. Yeah, I don't know if we need to have on perma repeat the Sonic. Love it, love it. Let's not destroy. Let's not destroy our brains. You know, it's too good. It's too good for this world. I'm gonna take a few minutes to get some rim light on the moblin. I think it's appropriate. We'll go another 10, 15. Yeah. Okay. So now what's different is if we turn on this. Oh, what was so wrong about this? Yeah, it's got dynamism, but it was a little much for me. I didn't hate it at all, but we're too far gone now. This will be better. This is my theory. This will be better. Wait a second. No. Okay. That's funny. That's that version. This is the version we're working on. It's slightly more balanced. It's okay. It's a practice. It's like yoga. It's a practice like yoga, which I don't do. Okay. Yellow rim light on a moblin. What's that like? Gotta go brighter than that. Gotta go brighter than that. Hardly see any difference. And I do need to see difference because it is to the point where that will be necessary. some here on the leg even, finally. Let's do some for the armor. Much brighter. Let's get some rim light on the rocks here. Alexa, it's been forever. How you been? I'm glad you popped in. It's been a lonely stream. I've been good. I've been good. My wife is in Norway right now, so she's just visiting, and she's on a trip with her sister to trace their Norwegian roots, which is very ambitious of them. So I'm at home with the kids where it's stressful, so I'm just trying to squeeze in a stream while they're asleep, which I've been pretty good about doing. How have you been? I'm making my way through these Zelda pieces. This will be my it's not a life sentence, but I'll be doing this for a while. feel like this big guy is gonna have some reflected light too. This is rim light, not reflected light. Some of this light is going to directly hit the tip of his spear. Maybe like that. I don't know. I'm going to finish up in a minute, just so you know. Let's see if I can draw a circle. I think that's fun to have a little, yeah. Fairy can have a halo. Soften it so it glows. A few rounds of softening. Lift the fairy halo. Can I just draw with a glow tool? I want it to do like that. That's not bad. Something that feels like a magical trail. not too bad. Screw it, we got a few more minutes. Let's... add a little bit of atmosphere in the background. Sort of this illuminated dankness. So that's in back of the Armos, and now we can have some in front of the Armos. I wonder if there's a lot of other things I'm forgetting, but let's try turning some things on that we had turned off. These layer effects, you can't leave them on while you're drawing and painting. They'll corrupt your true vision. Yeah, I'm gonna turn off that dust for now. I think it's just competing. This fairy line. Feels like, is it too? That's interesting. Let me get rid of that altogether. We could just totally dim the background. I like this looking better. Let's sleep on it a bit. That's the solution. Maybe I don't force myself to make a decision about it right now. All sorts of little things left to fix. $6:30. Time to pack it in. All right. Today's gonna be a long day. Yeah, I think it needs to be about the fairy. Just all about the fairy. Everything else should come second. Well, it's like the interaction between the fairy and this moblin, first and foremost, and then everything else falling behind that. So, like even diminishing the importance of the Armos, diminishing the importance of things happening in the background. That's looking more clear. It's looking a little more tasteful. I like that. I'm going to save out here. And then for next time, we're going to fix some of this compositional stuff where we need to figure out if this thing in the foreground is staying or going. And then the vignetting needs to get solved. I'm not sure what I just did, but like that looked better. Yeah. All right, time for one of my cringe reaction shots. Go like this. I like that one. All right, that'll be it. Gotta go. Have a good day, whoever's out there. Adios.